Hey guys, such a warmonger here, and these are my thoughts on defense. This is kind of a different video. I just want to get into it. So, Obelix had a few questions on defense after a game today. And after answering his questions, I kind of wanted to share my thoughts on defense to you guys. So, getting into it, you should know that the attackers can spawn in 5 spots, like here. That's the north. Northeast over there. Southeast over here. Southwest over here. And northwest over here. And the concept I'm going to explain should kind of be easy to adapt to any of those spawns. Basically, I want to isolate the enemy to where he spawned. So, for example, in this game, the enemy spawned in the southeast. So what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to ask my allies. I want to ask one ally to keep his light cavalry and start patrolling along this line. Because there are gates here and there are gates here. If possible, I want him to patrol here, but more likely, these guys are probably going to spread out, sprawl their base a little far, so it might be dangerous to keep your light cavalry over here. You can try it. The whole point is to know if the enemy is spreading beyond where they started from. So, and also catch villagers or flanks. So I basically want to keep light cavalry here, the very starting light cavalry here, and another starting light cavalry over like anywhere here. I mean, the farthest back you would want to stay is here because that's where your gate is. I personally like to keep my light cavalry patrolling over here on this line. But you could go further up because you can be supported by infantry coming through the Posterns over here. You can go further up all the way to the edge over here, maybe. But the point is to find out if the enemy is spreading beyond their starting location, to catch wandering villagers trying to set up a secret base somewhere else, or unexpected flank. And if you're able to do that, then you don't need to keep any defensive forces protecting the other gates or any other points. So you don't need to protect that area, you don't need to protect this gate, you don't need to protect this gate, and that'll let you have more forces. You don't need to protect this gate. That'll let you have more forces protecting the more important points in your defense, like here, all along this wall, this area. Because you will be outnumbered as a defender. So you want to have a concentration of men to meet the enemy. Because if you're spread out, you're going to be outnumbered even more than you already are. So, keeping in line with that concept, if the enemy spawns here, then I like to keep, tabs over on this line, and I can even reinforce from this gate. And then I will also keep tabs on this line, with my light cavalry, and then I can reinforce from this gate. Now, you don't want to fight too hard to keep your observation lines open. Really, it's more of a, like I said earlier, you just want to know what they're up to. Now, if it's like a force of cavalry plus villagers trying to make like a secondary base over here or something, then I will actually try to like fight that with my own heavy cavalry because they're probably not supported by infantry. Because I want to prevent them from spreading out and make it more difficult for me. Because the hardest thing to do as a defender is to defend like the whole city. So let's say you didn't do that, and you have someone like a player. I already know a player who likes to do this. Like build a base here, build a base here, build a base here, build a base here. then basically he has the option of sending levy units anywhere he wants with battering rams and siege towers. And even though levy units are kind of weak and it's easy to recapture points that they take, that still forces you to divert units from your main point of defense. So if they spawn here and like you're trying to defend this and you're trying to defend this gate very heavily, and then this gate and this Tower of David, well, how are you going to do that if you had to keep your men also here and also here and also here? So yeah, you do want to make your own horse archers and medium to heavy cavalry to meet like secret bases and eliminate them if they're built around the map, and prevent villagers from doing that to you. Same thing here. There's a northwest spawn. Then I will keep a line over here of light cavalry scouting around once again, and light cavalry over here. I actually set, if they spawn here, I actually set my horse archer rally points to over here. That makes it even easier to keep tabs. And then the light cavalry like patrolling over here. Light cavalry patrolling over here. And if they spawn over here in the northeast, then same line, because there's a gate here, easy to reinforce. Same line of light cavalry patrolling over here on this line and patrolling over here, because there's another gate here to reinforce or do something if I need to. Last but not least, this is the wide front. This is kind of hard to defend. So if the enemy spawns here, then their front is pretty wide because there's only one gate protecting the center. Then I do this, the shortest point between the edge of the map and the city wall is over here, and they keep light cavalry patrolling here. And same spot over here. So then they have a much wider point of attack, but because it's so wide, maybe it won't be as strong. Who knows? But then it's our responsibility to protect this whole northern wall. But then that's up to you. So those are my thoughts on positioning. Now, these posterns are here for a reason. You can flood infantry outside of them. Not cavalry, but infantry. And you can't even flood archers out because of their attack ground capability. But they are useful if you're under attack from this point to sally out any infantry to take down siege towers and things like that, or battering rams that are harassing you here. Same with this. And especially these like this is Tancred's tower. This can fit a lot of units in, and then just to help you defend the point, you can flood them out, set the rally point outside the wall, and then it'll really help a lot. So then I make sure that I use those, or ask my ally to set the rally points in the direction I want. It's especially important for this side, and I actually have a video of me doing that. I can actually move infantry very quickly by sending them here into this castle or this donjon. Then I can like protect this little area, this little ruined area, or move them into this donjon to protect this side, because like they like to send siege towers to this wall, and then I can like send the infantry to try to block that, and I have a video of me doing exactly that. Same thing with these donjons, these posterns. Siege towers come up here, you just pop them out and start trying to fight back. They do need to be supported by archers, so I like to keep the archers over here or inside the gate, the tower, to help with that. Now, it is an interesting idea to leave men out defending these choke points if you're under attack from the corner. So I know a player who likes to leave men here and protecting the bridge and protecting this point, and that leaves this wall pretty well defended and this gate. The only issue is you have to make sure that they're protected from ranged attack. You have to make sure that you're targeting. Like if you have a bunch of crossbowmen here, put them on spread formation and make sure that your infantry that are protecting this bridge and this choke point are not getting killed by horse archers or archers or anything. That make sure you fight back, because if you leave them unsupported, they're just easy targets. And that goes for any point that you want to defend. So those are my thoughts specific to here. Actually, specific to the southeast corner, I like to leave a group of heavy cavalry. I actually rally them over here, ready to make any sort of like sweeping flank on siege towers or infantry here, or if they have trebuchets and other stuff like that, just to harass them with the support of horse archers, or even to just like go out the back and then harass their important tents, elite tent, command tent, supply depot. And another player can do the same by leaving horse archers and cavalry here. Same concept. Then you can get a pretty good active defense here, and it seals it even tighter. Villagers have an even harder time sneaking past and trying to make an extra base. Then the attackers are kind of like bottlenecked into just attacking a very difficult to attack point. If you got supported men here with archer support, if you got supported men here, archer support, it goes without saying you should try to repair anything, including walls, with your villagers. Repair this, repair this, repair this. Really, especially repair this. This is a very important castle to repair. I mean, once it falls, this is a very important point to like plug. You need to plug that gap because these low walls are very easy to take down with battering rams. Of course, leave some archers here to protect this wall with some infantry support here. And if you do that, you've got a pretty good solid defense, which the attackers need to get creative to try to bypass. That's from the southeast corner. Southwest corner, specifically, kind of the same concept. Leave heavy cavalry here, actually over here I like to leave some infantry as well as cavalry to block this. The enemy usually like gates and palisades this up, and he might try to fight over this wall. If he does make a hard push, you can pull your cavalry back a little further just so they're not committed to a fight against spearmen, and then pull your infantry behind the wall and just start repairing this. And of course, if they start bringing the battering rams, just kill the battering ram and then pull back again, because you're trying to buy time, and then you're waiting for opportunities for your cavalry that are over here to come in and like swoop down on the enemy, especially if they're heavy cavalry. In the meantime, same concept again. Horse archers and heavy cavalry hanging out over here. Well, I mean, realistically, they can hang out here, but the enemy might make his camp really big, and then at that point, it'll be more and more dangerous for your units to come out of this gate. But if you can afford to, leave it over here, and if you lost that whole area, you might be forced all the way back over here, which would open up Tancred's tower. So maybe if the enemy makes this whole area unsafe for you to attack, that can get a little harrowing, and then you might have to rally units outside of this gate, but still try to at least make it all the way here, once again to take advantage of any opportunities to kill siege towers, trebuchets, elite tents, command tents, supply depots. Or, yeah. And then, once again, then they'll be forced to make these heavy attacks into this area, heavy attacks into this area, heavy attacks into this area. And that can be predictable, but at least you can do something about it and waste time. If the enemy attacks here, they're probably going to try to kill Tancred's tower, or at least capture it, and then kill this gate. And kind of do the same thing. They're probably going to spread their base here and start hitting this. Then I leave, you have a little more room to leave men here this time. And then keep an eye on this area. Heavy cavalry and horse archers. And if they spawn here, like I said, I like to leave my stuff here because this is the next nearest gate. Then you can swoop down on them with your cavalry and horse archers and harass their base, etc. Same concept. And then of course, you know, these are important points to defend right here especially. And then keep an eye on this gate. This gate, surprisingly, can get captured a lot of the time, so just be wary of that. Same thing with here. And when they do spawn over here, the most dangerous point, and you should probably set your rallies for anything from the Temple Mount over here. So like I like to set my command quarters rally over here, and I like to make like 5 monks from the monument. And then of course these barracks and archery ranges, I need to make sure to set the rallies somewhere over here also. And then for this elite quarters, I actually also like to set the rally here as well to make sure that that's fine. And that's specifically for being under attack from this point. Now northeast, I already pretty much explained my thoughts on that, and as well as the north. Those were just specific things to these 3 spawns that I found successful. Because when an enemy spawns northeast or north, it's harder to figure out where they're going to deploy their base, because they can always deploy it somewhere like more over here, or right smack dab where they started, or like kind of like over here. I mean, because the northeast player can even like move his camps right over here. And then if the northeast player does try to like move his camp over here, same concept. Well, actually it gets harder because your gates are over here, but he's over here. So it's kind of harder to see where he's gonna do. I mean, he might be able to make a base here, and it's hard to stop that. But that's where divide and conquer comes in. You know, defeating the enemy in detail. If the enemy starts spreading too far, that's another concept where if the enemy splits into a base here, and then he has a base here, and he has a base here, then they're very far from each other, and they can't easily mutually support each other. And that's when you start trying to bully the enemy. So then you can gather all, like, at least 2 players, maybe even 3, to just destroy a base. Like, and you can pick your target. Like, you can pick this one. That's easy to destroy if he deploys over there, because he's all alone. It's harder to kill the guy who, like, spread out over here, or spread out over here. But if he decided to go over here and he's far from his friends, then you just destroy him. And then you just have to worry about this area and that area. Same thing. Anybody who decides to separate themselves from their allies makes himself a target. Now you have to be careful. If he's a very good player and he did that on purpose, he might be trying to bait you into attacking him and destroying him. Because if he does play defensively and he's good at it, then that could actually hurt the defenders. Because he could be playing a battle of attrition, of trying to keep you tied down while his allies build up and attack. So just keep that in mind. If you're finding it that like he isolated himself, but it's really hard to kill him, it might not be worth taking him down. Because that's actually something I do. Like if we deploy here, and then I move my whole base over here, I know a few players who decide that, oh, our point of our production is right over here, and we can just like bully him. But the way I like to play it, I'm expecting that, and I build up my my palisade walls and gates and archers, and I just play a defensive battle, knowing that I'm going to be bullied for a lot of the time, maybe even half the game. But that allows me, my allies who are like farther away over here and over here, to make good progress and really threaten the Church of the Holy Sepulchre over here. Break down this postern over here, break down this gate, and make a real scary threat towards here. And then the problem is, well, I'm over here threatening this side of the city, and the defenders are trying to bully me. Then they leave this open, and then just a few battering rams going over here like really makes it hard. Then the defenders are spread thin, trying to defend this point unexpectedly while they were trying to kill me. So just be wary of that. At that point, if we're talking about mid game is really about early to mid game is really about trying to repair as much as possible. So you always have to make sure that you're trying to get the resources outside the city. You know, this stone, and this stone. I'm assuming if the enemies like spawn here, you try to get the stone that's far away from them, right? This does two things. The attackers rely on stone to build mangonels and trebuchets, which are really the best way to take down defensive structures. Of course, battering rams and siege towers are super effective. Battering rams are the best way to take down gates, and they're very scary when it comes to attacking a gate. But when it comes to destroying towers and bastions and keeps, the mangonels and the trebuchets are the best way forward. So if you can deny them that stone, because they need stone to build those, then that really helps your cause. And then, of course, all players, I'd like all defensive players to have at least 4, maybe even 5 villagers dedicated to just repairing. I mean, let's say they've got like 8 trebuchets trying to take this down. Well, if you got like 12 villagers, maybe even 15 villagers repairing this, then it's going to take a long time. And that buys you time for your horse archers to take those trebuchets down, or even cavalry. Medium cavalry. Yeah. So yeah, it's the light cavalries for scouting and harassing villagers. Horse archers are good against important tents and mangonels and trebuchets. Medium cavalry, almost the same, or like shoring up defenses. Heavy cavalry, obviously, you know, keep them alive. Another thing for the defenders is it's really important to keep your units alive as much as possible. If you need to retreat from a battle, you should. If you feel like you're gonna lose that battle badly, you should just pull back. Even if you lose like maybe like a fourth of your units trying to run away, it's still worth running away, because your rate of food and gold income is just not as good as a defender. Yeah. So, is there anything else? I mean, those are my thoughts on how to defend. Some people defend differently. Some people are super aggressive. Some people are super defensive. I was talking about early to mid game. Towards the end game, if you are breached, I assume you're going to be breached at certain points. The end game really just becomes more about protecting the major points. So you can see in some games where people start really putting a lot of units over here in the Sepulchre. And that's because they know that they have enough morale to last the last few minutes of the game, and like they just shore up the defenses over here, making sure that they still have some harassing horse archers to maybe gain some morale back by attacking their elite tents or command tents, you know. And you got a group of like beefy infantry running around the map trying to retake points that the attackers took. So let's say like, oh, the attackers took these outer wall stuff, you know, just a group of like 20 to 25 spearmen, sergeants, and swordsmen running around and retaking those. It's actually hard to deal with, because the units that are usually trying to run around and capture these smaller points, it's like 99.9%, it's gonna be cavalry. And so if you just have those like mixed spearmen with swordsman support, running around, like just walking around, taking points back, that's actually hard to deal with as an attacker because you're gonna have to dedicate really slow infantry to try and take it down. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Hopefully that helped you. See you in the next video.